Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Finally have NBA back. I'm not going to talk too much. No lineup to go over from last before the All-Star break. But if you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. Make videos for NBA, make videos for NFL. All these videos they can post on the subreddit, make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. Anything you need will be in this subreddit. You can ask me questions, like I said. So I'll have this link down below, and if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right there. No lineup to go over. Hopefully, you guys had a good All Star break. We'll just jump right in it. We fully took advantage of the All Star break. We went 7-1 on props on the All Star break. Like I said, there's no bigger edge than the All Star break. So, yeah, fully took advantage of that. Hopefully, you guys had a good All Star break as well. Broken at Toronto. So really, really good spot here. I mean, new coach here. I don't agree with the Vaughn firing. Let me know how you guys feel about that. I don't necessarily agree with it, but keep it on the starting lineup. I would expect Cam Johnson to move back into the starting lineup here. With that being said, I like the ceiling on Mikel at 7.3K. He's probably my overall favorite play on this team at 7.3K. He's their go-to guy. Should play close to 40 minutes in a competitive game. Good spot here going up against Toronto as well. So I don't mind him. Still no standouts here. Definitely prefer him to Cam Thomas. If you think Claxton gets his normal run with Daron Sharp back, another guy that I'm intrigued by in tournaments that'll be low on because when he does get his normal minutes, he does crush. But we'll see there. Ben Simmons, another guy that I'm intrigued by just because I think there is a small chance they do uptick his minutes here. But if he goes back to or if he stays at his normal minutes limit of like 20, 22 minutes, then hard to go there at 5.6K. Don't love much else here. I think that's it here for Brooklyn. Let's move on to Toronto. So not much I like here. We do have Kelly Olynyk back. I actually think Kelly Olynyk is a fine value. Should play around 20 minutes. Good point per minute, guys. So I actually don't mind Kelly Olynyk. I think he's a low-owned play in tournaments that I actually do like for value that I don't think a ton of people will be on. I think I prefer him to Pirtle. RJ Barrett's actually been leading this team right now in usage. I think he's probably my favorite play of the main guys given the price points. Quickly at 6'8", he's been a bit underwhelming. Scotty, he's been up and down, but clearly does have a ceiling, but no standouts here. Trent, fine value, has to do shots to reach value. I definitely don't mind that there. It's fine. And then Bruce Brown's in play, but I don't think I'll be going to him. Moving on to Detroit. So this is a really, really good spot. One thing of note here is when Detroit is playing badly, don't expect Stewart to play, by the way. When Detroit is playing badly, they will just screw the starters and go straight to the bench. So that's one thing to keep in mind here, looking at the past two rotations for this team. Now, if the starters are playing well, you should get over 30 minutes for the main guys, that being Cade, Dern, Ivy, Alzer, Simone. So with that being said, if you think this game stays competitive, the main guys get normal rotations, then I do like some guys here. That being Cade, Dern, Ivy. Ivy my least favorite just because he's gotten trolled even when the starters are playing well. But man, really good spot here. Indiana, terrible defensively. Pace up spot as well. If you get his normal 35 minutes here at this price point, he could absolutely nuke. So if Cade's low owned tomorrow, I am going to be all over Cade. Duran's in a good spot as well. I don't mind his ceiling in tournaments. Ivy, going to be low owned. I don't mind that, but a lot riskier than the other guys. Still have risk here. Also, Thompson in the starting lineup has played 29 minutes back-to-back games, gotten a foul trouble in both of those. So if you get his normal minutes, I think he's a decent option at 5K. Simone's playable, but for Alzer. And then if you want to go to like an Evan Fournier who's been in this rotation and playing decent minutes, I don't mind it for salary relief. I really, really don't. Now, would I be shocked if he only plays like 15 to 20 minutes tomorrow? No, but I mean, if you continue to get these type of minutes, he's a guy that when he's out there, he's going to shoot the ball. He's not scared to shoot the ball. So I actually don't mind Evan Fournier in 2024. Just it's wild to say. Moving on to the Pacers, so I'm expecting Halliburton to go back to his normal regular season minutes of like 35 plus. So I think Halliburton really, really stands out here. One of my favorite plays in tournaments, especially if he'll be low owned. Going to be interesting to see what his ownership comes in at tomorrow, but I'm really high on Halliburton. Miles Turner in another really, really good spot as well. I like him quite a bit. He's played 31 back-to-back games, gotten a foul trouble here as well. I think he's a good tournament play. Isaiah Jackson's too pricey if Jalen Smith's out. We have Neesmith out, so that's going to help like Mather and Nemhard. I think both are fine options. Nemhard safer, Mather more of the ceiling play. I don't think I get to much else here, though. Moving on to the Knicks. So Randall Hartenstein, probable. We'll keep an eye on if he's going to be on a limit there. And then Bojan is probable as well. No standouts here. I think Brunson's a good tournament player, or good spend up, just because in competitive games, kind of similar to like a Tyrese Maxey, he's just going to play the entire game and lead this team in usage. So I think both the spend up guards in this game do look pretty solid. Dante's overpriced, Precious overpriced, sorry. Hartenstein, if we get news that he is not on a limit, will probably be my second favorite play on this team. I would say he's still priced right, though. Don't know if I go to much else. It's mainly just Brunson, the real standout for me on the Knicks. Moving on to the Sixers. Embiid, Melton still out. Batum is questionable. Keep an eye on that. But kind of like Brunson, I really like Maxey in tournaments. He went to the locker room. He was on pace to play 42 minutes again. This game should stay competitive. Not the best spot going up against the Knicks, but his usage rate is really, really high right now. Competitive with the minutes. Competitive is actually stuffing the stat sheet as well with no this year with no Harden, and now you have no Embiid. So I'm really high on Maxey. I'm always going to be high on Maxey. He comes in low owned every single slate, and he has 70 fantasy point upside. So I'm always going to be high on him in tournaments. Tobias Harris is overpriced or priced right. Buddy Hield, I still think is in play, but he's not as good of a play as he once was. He should still play big minutes. He should still chuck when he's out there. So I still don't mind Buddy Hield. Not as good of a play as he once was, though, but still solid. Oubre, no thank you. Rather play Hield. Paul Reed's one I'm kind of torn on because this game was definitely an outlier. He's not going to continue to play 40 minutes here, but if he gets his like 35 plus, he could smash. Like, kind of going to be an ownership thing for me. I would say he's probably priced right, but intrigued there for tournaments just because the upside with him is high. I don't think I get to much else here. No, I'm not going to play like Kyle Lowry. I'm just not going to do it. Moving on to Orlando. Markelle Fultz is out. I think the main standouts here are both the guards and Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony. I think both are decent options. Suggs definitely the better play between the two. He should play big, decent minutes compared to what he normally does here. So I'd expect over 30 minutes from Suggs. I actually do think he is a solid value here. Paulo Banchero is fine. I don't love the matchup for anyone else. Wendell Jr. at 4.9. Another guy where like the range of outcomes are up and down with his minutes, but if he does get his like 30 minutes, he could smash at this price point. So I do like Wendell Jr. for value. Isaac can play. I don't think I go to much else. Moving on to Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell up on the injury report. We have just got news that Mobley and Garland will not be on the limit, and I don't understand this price. I don't understand this price for Darius Garland no longer on a limit. So I really, really like Garland, even if Donovan Mitchell plays. If Donovan Mitchell plays, he's fine, just not a good spot. Mobley not on a limit. I think he's a decent option at 6.7K as well. I definitely prefer him to Jared Allen too. So I'm pretty high on Mobley and Garland here. With Mobley coming back, that's going to hurt Jared Allen. Jared Allen's still in play though, and then Strus, fine. Not going to get to much else. Now, if Mitchell's out, this is going to be a lot to like. Then Garland's going to shoot up to probably the best play on the slate at that price point. The bigs, are still solid. And then Strus would look really solid. Karis LeVert, I would really, really like. So those would be the main standouts there that would look really solid. Moving on to Phoenix, good spot here. So keep an eye on Bradley Beal. If he sits, it's going to be bumps to guys like, Grayson Allen, Eric Gordon, Royce Neal. This trio of these three I think would be decent options. I think Royce would look the best point per dollar. All three would be decent though. And then I think there's a good chance that Nurkic could get a minutes bump from Beal sitting. So he would be an interesting tournament option. Then obviously Booker, Durant, both look solid spend-ups, but priced right at those prices. If Beal's in, don't love much here. The main three are in play. Beal probably my favorite. And then the value plays would just be more large field tournament darts for me. XM out, Luka Doncic probable, and Derek Lively probable, and Kleba questionable, I believe. Oh, probable. Okay. So Gafford started last game. Lively, him kind of split the center minutes. Both don't stand out to me at their price points. PJ Washington has been on pace for big minutes in every single game ever since he's been in the starting lineup for Dallas. I actually like him at 5.2K. Now, his rates on this team are going to be a lot worse compared to other teams just because Dallas runs their offense completely different, right? It's just Luka, Kyrie just chucking the ball, so it's completely different. But I still think he's firmly in play. And obviously, it's a good spot. I think Luka does look like a good spend up. I do prefer him to Kyrie Irving. And then what else? I think that's it. I don't think I get to much else here for Dallas. Where is Charlotte? There we go. Because I wanted to mention Grant Williams' usage rate ever since getting traded from Dallas. Moving on to the Clippers, not much here. I do think Zubac is going to, I think he's going to be off his minutes limit, or at least play more. He did play 28 minutes on the 14th, so I do expect him to probably play 30 minutes in this spot. Now, it's not a good spot going up against OKC, but if you give him 30 minutes, he is too cheap at 5.4K. So I am pretty high on Zubac. I don't love much else here. If you want to go to Paul George, Kawhi, Harden, that's fine, but I don't love much. Moving on to OKC, so Gordon Hayward going to be playing. That's going to hurt guys like pretty much all the value. Lou Dort, Aaron Wiggins, not going to play any of those guys. Gordon Hayward himself, I would expect a limit. I'm not going to go there at that price point. SGA, I think, is fine, just not a good spot. Chet, don't love. Jalen, don't love. So, yeah, really unappealing team here for OKC. Another team I just don't like when they're fully healthy. It's just not a good spot either. If you want to go to like Tatum, Porzingis, Brown, White, Drew, be my guest. I think my favorite, given the price points, are Kristaps Porzingis. But when this team's fully healthy, I just don't like anything. And I guess Tillman's going to be available. That's new. So yeah, Boston, pretty easy to talk about. Don't like anything. Moving on to Chicago, another not a good spot here. Now it's Boston's definitely bigger. So is there a chance they could start Drummond? I guess I don't think so. But that being said, I think Caruso, Io, they're both safe values. I think Kobe White, I think the main guys look good. Vooch, DeMar, Kobe White. I think they're all too cheap once again here. My favorite probably being Kobe White, but no standouts here. They're fine filler plays. Yeah. Houston, Fred VanVleet, I would expect to be on a limit, so that's going to hurt everyone. It's going to hurt Amen. Not going to go to Amen at that price point. Jabari Smith, I think, is still solid at 6K. Sengun, I think, is decent at 8.6K. Jalen, no thank you. Dylan Brooks, Whitmore completely out of place. So Aaron Holiday out of place. So yeah, Houston, another team I don't love. All right, Pelicans. Now we get to the good games, or the next game after this. That's good. That I am really, really high on. Potential a lot of good plays in this on this Pelicans team as well. So if Ingram plays, I think Zion is a decent option. I still think he's too cheap. His minutes have upticked way of late. Earlier in the year, he was playing sub 30 minutes a game. Now he's playing high 30s minutes. So with him playing high 30s minutes of late, he is a decent option. I think he's my favorite of the main three Pels. CJ Ingram, I think I'd much rather play Zion. Jonas, Nance, they're splitting the center minutes. I think Nance is probably my favorite. Herb Jones is playable. Don't love much. Now, if Ingram is out, that's going to change the entire slate. Then I love Zion. I really like CJ. Herb would be a good value. Trey Murphy would be a really good value. Don't know if I get to much else. Jonas, Nance would still split the center minutes. I think the main standouts would just be Zion, CJ, Trey Murphy, Herb, Jones there. All right, this is the game that I really, really like here. LaMelo, I would expect to be out. We'll see if he plays. If he plays, he'll be on a limit. But assuming he is out, there's a lot to like here. Trey Mann at 5.5, I still really, really like. He has actually had a really high usage rate. His potential assists are up. His rebounding are up. He looks really solid. Nick Richards at 5.6 is playable. Miles Bridges is still like at 8.9K. Brandon Miller's solid. Grant Williams has had an insane usage rate, playing decent minutes as well. I don't mind him for value. We'll see what his ownership comes in on. We'll see if people chase. If he's chalk, I'll probably get away from it. Mitchich has played around 20 minutes in pretty much every single game, assuming LaMelo's out. Good point per minute guy. I think he's a solid option. Nick Smith, I believe, went to the G League. Yeah, so we'll see there. Then if LaMelo's in, the guard's out of play. Everyone downgrade, wouldn't love much. This is probably one of my favorite teams to target. Keontae George, 41 minutes last game. He was in my lineup this game too. Now, can't expect that to happen again, but I think he stands out as one of the best value plays on the slate. Ever since being inserted into the starting lineup, he's playing over 30 minutes. He's a good point per minute guy. He's stuffing the stat sheet. He's leading this team in potential assists. I think he's a really, really good value. I think Walker Kessler is decent. He should be able to feast on this Charlotte team. What else? John Collins, I think, is solid. Jordan Clarkson, I really like at 5.7. He's been getting big minutes of late. I think he's too cheap. Sexton would be your pivot. Markkanen's in a really, really good spot. I like him quite a bit at 8.1K. Chris Dunn should play around 20 minutes. He's playable. So this Utah team looks really, really good to me. Moving on to Washington. Don't love much. I think they're going to need Bagley out there, so I don't mind Bagley for tournaments. And then if you want to go to like a Denny, it kind of feels like chasing. I'm not going to do it. We also have Kuzma. He is back. I believe he missed the 14th game. Yeah, he missed that game, so it feels like chasing to me. Kuzma himself is fine. I think my main standout here is Bagley. Moving on to Denver. So Jokic should be able to feast. He's probably one of the better spin-ups on the slate to me. Jamal Murray. He is probable. Don't mind him. I think I'd rather play Jokic. MPJ Aaron Gordon priced right. I don't think I get to the value here. So hopefully you guys had a great night. My props video is already up for the next day if you want to check that out, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.